So have you told him that you loved him yet?
No, I'm so scared.
Wait, I read this article in Psychology Today the other day. It said that hearing a partner say, "I love you," or "you are my greatest love," for the first time is regarded as one of the highlights of a romantic relationship. However, people are often uncertain about when to declare their love and whether to be the first one to do so or to wait until the other has given an indication that they feel the same way. So it makes sense that you have this feeling of uncertainty.
I feel like it can't just be uncertainty though. People say I love you at different times. It could be attachment theory, it could be gender roles. I don't know.
Okay, but honestly, what does love even mean?
Actually, I was reading in the encyclopedia the other day. There are many kinds of love. The encompassing love of our parents begins our own life's journey of love, a journey that wends its way through love of parents, siblings, grandparents, friends, romantic partners, and eventually full circle to the encompassing love of our own children and grandchildren.
Okay, but still, what really is love?
I don't know. Let's go find out.
It's a big thing to say, like, I love you.
Yeah, I was really scared to say it.
I think fear is the right word.
Man, you asking all the hard questions today.
Refusing to say I love you may be disconcerting for you, and it can stem from many causes. Some people had a negative experience when saying I love you, while others may demonstrate love in ways besides a verbal statement. Understanding the reasons behind others' refusal to say those 3 words can help you relate to them. Such knowledge will prove helpful in many relationships of different kinds.
It's much more than just feelings. Anybody has feelings, but love takes a lot more work than that. It takes more than just the passion. It takes the effort, the patience, the commitment, the grace.
I think the best definition I found comes from a book by Scott Peck called The Road Less Traveled, and he defines love as the will and the choice to extend oneself to nurture one's own or another person's spiritual growth. But it's also notoriously difficult to define love. There's a lot of mystery involved in what it is, and Scott Peck in the book that I just quoted from mentions that people have tried for a long time to define love, and nobody has come up with a real great one-sentence definition of it. It's too large, too deep, too complex, too mysterious to easily define.
It's sharing. It's working and striving together. It's building your relationship and maintaining it. It's a lot more than just a word.
Some of the things that you do are acts of love, and that can fill you with that emotion, like that feeling of happiness and love. I'd say
So act on your feelings.
Yeah.
It can definitely be action based, and I think that you can't really have one solely without the other.
You can't have love without one of the two. It can't be just all feelings, or else you just turn into a sappy relationship. Where you can't just have all actions, or else you don't turn into anything else. They need to go hand in hand for you to have a deep and meaningful relationship.
I don't know. I feel like it's really both. I mean, I think it's definitely, I perceive it as a feeling, but I know like with my boyfriend, I know there's different love languages, and he likes to show that he loves me through actions, doing things for me. But I like to hear it being said. So I feel like it's more of a feeling, but then other people might think it's more of an action, like him. So.
Yeah, we learned about those 5 love languages from Gary Chapman's book that we read in class.
Yeah, there are 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, giving gifts,
Yeah. What's the last one?
quality time.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay, cool. You see, I always thought my boyfriend would say it to me first because, where is it? Oh, men are socialized to take initiative in relationships.
Yeah, but somewhere in this book I read something else. Like he could be feeling the same way about you. Yeah, right here. The stereotype is that women are more interested in relationships, especially serious relationships, and are therefore more likely to confess their feelings sooner than men. So which one's true?
I have no idea.
Usually the girls wait for the guy to say it first, anyways. Oh, you know the girls will.
Yeah, I was really scared to say it, but I'm glad I did because he said it back. So.
Doesn't mean that the male or the female has to
Initiate?
initiate it.
But after a while, it just
It just is.
is, you know, either one says it first to make a difference, you know.
I'm not sure, but I believe that men in particular may be more likely to say, I love you, when what they really mean is, I lust you, or I want to have sex with you, or sometimes I need you, or I feel like I depend on you. And again, I think it's possible, or maybe true, that females are more likely to say, I love you as a result of experiencing a deep emotional connection with someone. I would also say that in general, for both genders, it's very, very common for people to confuse love with erotic attraction, confuse love with need, and to confuse love with dependency. And love is not any of those things.
Oh, I'm reading a book about that right now. It's called Attributional Patterns of Expressions of Love by Melanie Booth Butterfield. It says that males may also say I love you first because they have difficulty distinguishing love from other related emotions such as affection, lust, admiration, and trust.
Interesting. Attachment behavior is a predictable behavior that is a product of increased closeness towards one's attachment figure. So basically, it is how people act based on their relationship with their attachment figure, usually being a parent or guardian.
That people have various attachment styles, very different attachment styles, and so depending on what an individual's attachment style is will determine not only when they might say those words, but how they might mean them and how they might understand them.
A secure attachment style is characterized by positive internal working models of the self and others. When confronted with stressful situations, securely attached individuals likely demonstrate effective coping strategies, such as confiding in others to solicit help and support. Secure attachment is also associated with more positive help-seeking attitudes among adolescents. In contrast, insecure attachments are characterized by negative internal working models of the self and others. Insecurely attached individuals are more likely to cope with stressful situations by suppressing negative affect, which inhibits support seeking.
Like, you don't know when you can say that, you know, if the person's cool with that. It's pretty scary.
He probably felt a little better because he said it, so I said it back, so it's kind of like a relief.
I was afraid he would feel the same way, so I was just putting myself out there, but it worked out in the end, so I'm glad I did.
Obviously, you're worried that they're not going to say it back, and then it'll be super awkward.
Well, I think it's primarily because of vulnerability. That's a very, very vulnerable thing to do. You make yourself vulnerable to how the other person is going to respond, and they might not always respond in the most ideal way or the way that you would like them to respond. So it's actually a very vulnerable thing to say, especially if it's deeply, deeply felt and very strongly meant. You really mean what you say. You're really putting yourself out there on a limb to say that first, and sometimes you may hear the sound of the limb being sawed off behind you.
I mean, I think the reason people fear saying I love you first is because they fear being rejected, and they're putting their cards out there on the table, and you know, that's risky, no matter what. And also, you know, try to prepare yourself that you might not hear back. I think, you know, a lot of the time we say these kinds of things and we expect, you know, this is in the script, I say it, then you say it, and then we're all happy, but that might not happen, so you need to be prepared for that.
Okay, so maybe after all of this, you were right. It might all have to do with uncertainty. Uncertainty in the meaning of love, uncertainty about what if their partner will say it back, and uncertainty about what's going to happen to their relationship.
I told you, and the experts agree. When people are uncertain about an important outcome, they can hardly think about anything else. They think about such an event but do not yet adapt to it because they do not know which outcome to make sense of and explain.
Okay, true. But you have to admit that gender role and attachment style do play a little bit of a role.
Yeah, they do. So I'm scared. Why should I say it?
Trust me, there are so many benefits.
No, not like I don't think like a typical guy thinks, you know, benefits thing. It wasn't like that. It was more like a release of like, okay, we both acknowledge that we love each other. I think it was a benefit of just me just being able to say that and express it. If that makes sense. Like that was a true benefit. It wasn't like I wanted something from her by saying that. It was just like I wanted to tell her how my heart felt.
I suppose the main benefit is that you're letting another person know how you feel. There's always a risk involved with it, but certainly in relationships, you know, communication is really important, and so I suppose at least you can say that you made your feelings clear, and that's the possible benefit. If you do that in a situation where you've weighed up the possible risks and consequences and you're okay with those, then yeah, it can be a benefit that you're letting your partner know how you feel.
Okay, I think I'm ready. But when is the right time to say it?
When you said I love you, did you think about it ahead of time?
I don't think so.
No, it just it comes out.
I just, you know,
It's like a light bulb comes on, and there it is.
I thought about it a lot, and I wasn't sure like when I should say it because I didn't want to say it too soon, but I wanted to make sure that I definitely meant it. So, you know, I thought about like who he was and how much I liked him as a person, how much I liked being with him. So, I realized that I did love him. So.
And I remember just looking at her and staring at her for a while. And I just told her I love you, and she like looked at me, and she didn't know how to respond. And she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I love you," and then she wanted me to explain it. So I did. She's like, "Oh, I love you too." I'm like, "Oh, thanks for being so late on that one."
Well, I guess I would say that the right time is when an individual knows for sure that they're really ready to say that. It depends on the context of the relationship, but when they know that they're really ready to say that, when I say ready, I mean that they've made a decision to be loving in the action sense of the word, to, as the saying goes, love is as love does. It's not so much about feeling, contrary to popular opinion and belief, but it's a choice, it's an act of will, and so I think it makes sense to not say that unless a person has actually made that choice to love, to be loving, again in the verb sense of the word, to another person, and they're really willing to make the commitment to do that.
I just think that when you say I love you, it shouldn't just be thrown around. Like, I think it is a really serious thing, and that you shouldn't say it unless you truly mean it.
You shouldn't be scared about it. I don't know, like you kind of just know. That's the whole part of love that's a mystery. That you just know that you both love each other.
And you have to think, do I want to be committed to this person or don't I? And do I feel like they feel?
The words are very, very cheap, easy to say. The actual loving in the sense of love that takes effort and energy and hard work is much harder to do.
Whew. Glad we figured that one out.
That was a lot of work.